Kristen, I have unstoppable on the brain and I can't get rid of it, and I'm so glad that I can't, because I'm actually immersed in Bethany Hamilton's life. And this is the gal, of course, many of you have heard of, Soul Surfer, which is the story of a real life person, Bethany Hamilton, who lost her left arm in a shark attack while she was surfing on October 31st of 2003 at the age of 13, and miraculously was back on a surfboard in less than a month, which is just amazing to me.
Unreal.
So, you know, I just watched the movie Soul Surfer a couple weeks ago, and it's been out for a long time, so lots of people have seen it. But also there's a documentary type film that's actually of her with her husband and family. She's married now, has 3 children, 3 little boys. And the name of the documentary film is Unstoppable. And so she's a beautiful Christian woman and gives credit to God for helping her to heal and to get back on that surfboard and get back into life and to give it, you know, and to not allow this very unfortunate circumstance to destroy her life, the beautiful gift of life. She still had, you know, maybe she's missing an arm, but she still has so many other things to be grateful for, and she is grateful. She has a very grateful spirit. So I was saying to Kristen, you know, I translate that into our Christian walk in terms of how unstoppable are we when it comes to our faith. Do we get out of bed in the morning and really devote ourselves to being unstoppable Christians with unstoppable attitudes by being unstoppable evangelists? And so I thought that could make for an interesting video to talk about how can we better be unstoppable. And of course, Bethany is coming to Bryan, Ohio tonight, and she is going to be at the Arts and Ed at 7 o'clock. If you happen to see this before that, please come to the event. She's been at the high school this afternoon talking to the students there, and I'm sure she has been a total inspiration. If you can't get to the event, by all means check out her movie Soul Surfer, and I'm going to be honest, I really loved Soul Surfer, but I loved the movie Unstoppable even more, and it was actually of her, and oh my gosh, the waves are just beautiful and magnificent and petrifying. So I was like, that chick has guts like no other to even to get back in the water after an attack like that. But to, even with both arms and both legs and all body parts functioning and working, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have the guts for it.
I think it's interesting that you say about guts, because, you know, translating that into our Christian walk and being unstoppable evangelists, you know, I think it takes a lot of courage.
It does.
And that's something that we're really passionate about talking about, because courage is not something that you either have or you don't.
Right. There's no gene for courage. We don't get blessed with the gene courage or not.
You know, it's something that we practice. You know, it's something that we develop. It's something that we just do. You know, there's the very famous quote, if you're scared, do it scared. Yeah. You know, and so I think that in terms of evangelization, it's seeing every opportunity, every moment as an opportunity for evangelization. You know, whether that's just smiling at someone who needs a pick-me-up, or whether that's having a conversation with someone when the opportunity arises. You know, but it's having the courage and just faking it till you make it. If you don't have the courage, if you're not feeling super courageous, just like you said, having the guts, having the gumption, you know, that's what it takes to be unstoppable, is just refusing to let those things keep you from doing what you know God's calling you to do. Right.
So, you know, so I was thinking about, from the minute you get out of bed in the morning, you know, what's the very first thing that you think, say, or do that is going to help you on the path of being an unstoppable Christian? And, you know, I thought, you know, the first thing you get up, you're already filling your mind with, okay, I don't know about you, but the first thing that comes to my mind is, what is today? What day is it? What is today? What do I have on my to-do list? And I would rather it be, you know, thank you, Lord, for another day. You know, I'm so blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be alive. Blessed to have a roof over my head. Blessed that I got to sleep in a bed with a pillow and a warm blanket, which many people do not. You know, those are all blessings, and to be able to have praise and thanksgiving be the very first thing out of your mouth when you wake up in the morning makes for the starting of a very unstoppable attitude as it applies to your Christianity.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you start thinking about when you're looking at the world through a lens of gratitude versus, negativity and gratitude to God, not just gratitude, but gratitude to God for all he's given you. It's an unstoppable attitude because once you get that started, the gratitude list really shouldn't end. You go throughout your day and you're like, man, if you've ever heard that quote on Pinterest, that what if you woke up today with only the things you thought to thank God for yesterday?
Oh boy.
Holy cannoli. I think we'd all be waking up with a lot less.
Well, and that brings us to the point that really, what is it that we could be doing or thinking or saying that would make us have a more unstoppable attitude? And the answer is everything. Literally everything. So it's not just so you get out of bed and you give thanks and praise to God, but also like, what are you going to do with your breakfast? Like, what are you going to eat that's going to actually fuel properly the vessel, which is your body is a vessel of the Holy Spirit. And if you don't feed it well and take care of it, it's not going to be a very good vessel, and you're not going to be a very good evangelizer. So,
and you're not going to be unstoppable.
You're not going to be unstoppable.
It does.
So it's literally everything. It's what you eat. It's what you allow to go into your mind. It's what you read. It's what you watch on television. It's how you dress when you go into the closet to figure out what you're going to wear for the day. Is what you're going to wear gratifying to God and glorifying to God, or is it something that could cause somebody else to fall into sin because it's too tight or too low cut or too this or too that? Too much skin. It's literally everything. When you go off to work, how you choose to treat your coworkers, and especially I think how you choose to treat people who are in a more difficult situation or circumstances, reaching out to those who are poor in spirit. And by poor in spirit, I mean they may be having a rough time of it in their home life, their marriages, their jobs, financially. They may be having difficulties with their children. I mean, there are a million different reasons why people are low in spirit. And so are we reaching out not just to the people who we enjoy and have fun with, but are we reaching out to those folks who are maybe not so much fun to interact with? Or, is it all about fun? Or is it all about being popular? Is it all about being in the, having a good time and trying to climb the ladder? Or is it, as Christians, unstoppable Christians, is it about, trying to lift spirits and help people to see God in everything, and being an encourager? We talk about that a lot. Being an encourager. And
I was just thinking, and to love people back to life. So not only just interacting with people who are easy to love, but those who are not easy to love. And what is it that you can do? Yet again, something as simple as a smile or something more substantial.
Right. I was watching Unstoppable and also the Soul Surfer movie, I kept thinking that Bethany Hamilton had to have had people in her life prior to her accident who had already filled her up with the kind of virtuous attitudes and behaviors and character traits that led her to be able to have such an amazing attitude after such a tragic accident occurred to her, and such a frightening kind of a thing. For her to be able to get back up and say, we're going to keep doing this. I mean, I'm sure she had her tough moments and her low moments, no doubt about that. But here she was, and it didn't just happen overnight because all of a sudden no, she had been in training for becoming the person that she is today, as we all are, always in training. So you don't wait until some kind of catastrophe strikes in order to get your virtue on, and and become the Christian soldier that God is calling all of us to. No, you got to be working on that. You got to be out in the battlefield, just working on growing those attitudes, and that means filling yourself up every day in as many ways as you possibly can, because we're always, everything we think, say, and do is unstoppable, or can be, should be.
Yeah, and also to say that even the negative things that happen to you throughout your day, how are those opportunities to grow in virtue? You know, is it perhaps that God is allowing certain, you know, annoyances or anything else to happen so that you can grow in certain virtues, you know, so that we can be who he's calling us to be.
And I want to throw in here, exactly, I want to throw in that, you know, prayer, you know, we have right behind us, just pray. You see it every time we do a video, or most of our videos, you can see it.
Unless we're blocking it, in which case we apologize.
And we've done that before, yes, we have. But, you know, just pray. And, you know, we like to say that our life should be a prayer. Our life should be a prayer. And I think that Bethany Hamilton's life is a prayer. I just saw a video that her husband put out when their third child was born, and he was doing nothing but praising God for this miracle of birth, this little, beautiful little baby, and what a beautiful, beautiful gift God graced them with for the third time. And, you know, he was just so full of praise and thanksgiving, and that is a prayer. Anything that puts you in the presence of God is a prayer. Anything that puts you in the presence of God is a prayer. So we need to be doing a lot more of thinking about the fact that God is in our presence, and that we came from God, we go back to God, and we should be in good relationship with him because it's all about him. And so we should live our lives in such a way that we are unstoppable.
And if you've been so inspired by today's message, we hope that you will support the ministry at www.luminousministries.com/donate. We hope that you have an unstoppable day, everybody.
Amen.
Get to Bethany Hamilton's talk tonight, if you can, 7 p.m. at the Arts and Ed. And if not, get familiar with her movie, with this documentary,
Soul
her
Surfer
story,
and Unstoppable.
so that you can be inspired to be an unstoppable evangelist for Christ.